Well, I like to sum things up. Very powerful how we come in these position time conditions. Trying to understand it, did a very powerful TikTok video. As long as you understand the videos, let's understand the information line system. Trying to understand what the infinity is. Today we're going to talk about it, what it is. It's the eye circles, the pentacle line center. Your job is to understand who you are, where you came from, and how to get back. That's all this is. So coordinates to line condition interference channels. It's all about understanding how you go through an eight central line system of the sun positions. Eight track line connections and its channels goes round and round. Okay, this is the teleportation line connections. It all positions to your higher levels. So every time you go to a higher level system, the coloration of the eight changes positions to your eye circles and its pentacle line connection. Okay, so it's all about everything that's inside your eyes. Okay, you have the practical line system and you have the logical system. You have to understand the frames. You have to understand the position. You have to understand the timers. You have to understand your activations, your programs, your computer line system. Now, it's very powerful how we come into this position because it is our past, present, or future. So I'm going to draw out the eight central line system and how it's all done through its equation from the birth line connections from humanity on where you are now and why you keep going through this cycle and why everybody goes into repeating system. It's all about coming into the position. You're in the center line system. Okay, all of a sudden, boom. Okay, you go out, right? All conscious levels is coming back in. It's resetting your computer lines. That's all it is. It's not that complicated. But humanity just wants to go round and round. And every time you go back around in that circle, you're living a nice life cycle that's in another position location, another physical valve, but your soul keeps traveling through that central light of its eight system, waiting for another adaptation of another physical line. That's the true understanding what it is. It's all connected. So it's all about going from out to in, back in position. Your center line connections everything through in. It's all about remembering where you are in positions of all time. It center lines all connections in its positions. Okay, so I truly want to understand that connection position. Now I'll tell you exactly where humanity is, and I'll tell you exactly where your commander is. So you get a true understanding how you have to go up your ladders of yourself first. Because you have to understand your eyes are saying one thing and your soul is saying another. That's the deception. That's the lies. That's the corruption. Okay, it's truly understanding what reality are you living in. You're going to keep going through that cycle. And every time you go back to that center, are you learning something new? If you are, the colorations of the teleportation line and its eight changes its position and coloration of its system. It's all about understanding your connection, how it forms into everything through your line system, your body track systems, your body activation core system. You have to understand how to put yourself in positions of center of everything. Okay, now once you do that, then you come out of the eye circle. Then you come out into the pentacles and its point line system. Everything is in position. Why we have the base and why we have the tip. Okay, we have mother and we have father. Everything from in and out. Same thing when you come into that connections. All right. So especially when you're in the intimate cycles and that connections, everything is in and out, not out and in, especially in relationships. This is the true understanding how everything is in its connections, its correlation centers. Everything's all about you coming back into center. So we're going to draw out the connections, right? So you get a better understanding what is happening with your life cycles and its continuous force and why you keep repeating everything through your eye circles of pentacles. Morning. How's everybody doing so far? I hope you slept well. If you sleep well, that's great. If you're learning something more, that's even better. So basically, the whole idea is to wake up, but not be in the same cycle. You should be in a new coloration of an eight. So the eight central line system is all about you understanding how to get into your flower of life. It starts with one atrial central line. That's a 12-line system to its location. I'll tell you exactly what it is, its position, right? So it's really interesting to come to this cross system. Anyway, any questions or comments, go through my healing. Let me know. Just go through my link below or go to TikTok afterwards. So I want to get right into it right away before we get started. Okay. So we have the center of everything through its conditions. Actually, let's go into black circle line system rotation. Okay, so I'm trying to make it easier for everybody so they can understand what is going on. Okay, there's the center of everything. Okay, now the center goes into position of a figure eight motion. Okay, Now you have to truly understand, you start here, okay? So when you start here, okay, you have to send everything through reference. Now it's in reverse line system. So all position is all about understanding you come out, but you have to go back in. So that is the connection of the Big Bang Theory, right? It combusts its system and you come out, right? Your job is to come back and center, okay? And your job is to high rise your positions. And your job is to understand creation of what's going on. So you get out of the deception of your eyes and you come more into the center line system of the soul. So once you get into that positions, all right, we'll go through another frame position. Let's go into black division line center. So you got the circle, okay, and you got the figure 8 to its location, right? Right. So it's truly understanding what you're seeing through application line systems and how it formulates on all levels. So once you come back in this center line system, you go up the connections of, let's just put a graph line system to a ladder. Okay, trying to show you exactly what you guys have to do. So what that happens through connections, the eye circle rotation comes into a higher level system to its location, and it comes into a new channel of a figure 8 motion sensor. Okay, so once you come, see the intelligence? You see the intelligence? All right, so once you come into that, okay, I'm going to go through frame through frame through frame. So let's go back in the center line system. You come into higher level systems like this. There's the 8. So your job is about understanding how to come into higher levels of pattern locations, 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 right? And then it comes into the high level system. So what are you doing? You're climbing up to a flower. So it starts off with a figure 8 line system. There's the flower rotation. All right. So the center line system to positions. Okay. This is where your commander is in position. Right there. See? I'm right here, guys. So I'm out of all the flower level connections. The mind system is on its allocated position of time clocks. So the circle line system is now allocated to all levels of flower of life, right? So I've left the flower of life and I'm in my own center line system of freedom. So I can create anything I want through its all connections, right? So I'm no longer in the eye reception line connection interference to its position location. So it starts off with its positions, okay, to its line system, right? So you come from here, Big Bang Theory. So that's the connection. You come back into your conscious levels. It's resetting you and your conscious positions back into center. You don't want to keep going around the cycle because it's just repeating. It's just repeating. It's just repeating. And it's going to stay at its low vibration. Your sanctions and everything through activation line connection is not going to understand its position channels. So you have to go back into the center and go up. And once you go up, then you come into the connections of a highlight system. Okay, just to show you what it is through positions, so you get a true understanding how we're all connected to that line system. Okay, you come into this position, right? Once you come into that position, you create a flower. Okay, there's the flower. Now, once you go that, you go into the center line system. Let's go into black dot interference. You start here, right? This is home. You understand? So you start off with the snake eye line system. It's the eyes of deception. It's the eye circles, okay, of all levels of you. So you're going to go through cycles, through cycles, and through cycles until you understand how to create your own flower of his activation line system. The flower becomes its own planet location. Once it comes its planet location, you understand the inner line system to center locations. Once you balance everything to positions, you come everything through an energy field rotation line system to protection. Okay. Right. So you come into this division, you climb the ladder, stay in the center, go out, come back in, you go up. Your job is to create the flower of life of you, which comes in positions. Right. So you just keep going up and up and up and up, and then you keep climbing the stem. Then you come into the flower, right? So you guys are in the center line system, but your commander is here, creating his own freedom to everything through positions of time location. So I've gone past the flowers, guys. I'm in here now in the center position, everything. So that's the true understanding how we have to balance everything through positions, but you have to get out of the eye circle pentacles of yourself. Okay? Very important to understand that. So it has its deception line system through its corruption. All right? So trying to understand how you're using these things. And every time you climb the ladder, right? So this is the understanding. What's going on here? This is the eye circle rotation, right? You got the center rotation to its position. Okay? And then you come into this. There it is. The tree. The tree comes into its position of a branch. Okay? Like that. All right? So your job is to what? Get out of the cycles of deception. Or you're just going to keep going around and round and round and round and round and round. And if it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, you're creating a whole new anomaly of an eye circle rotation, of a new pentacle line conditions, of interchanneling conditions, of activation to the negative cycle line system. So you're going to keep repeating life over and over and over and over. So the whole idea is that humanity was from here from the beginning. The Big Bang Theory just pushed you out. So it's all about reconsciousing your levels back into positions, back to your computer line system. Then you go up the connections of the ladder. Okay. Right. Then once you reach that center, you're out of the cycles. Okay. And then you come into higher level, into higher positions. Your job is to come into a formation of a flower location. Okay. That's a whole understanding how you have to come into these position time locations. Right? But I understand a little bit more now. Are we starting to connect a little bit more easier? Is it understanding what's happening right now? How you guys have to get into your own eye pentacles of the flower of life. The central line system will open up all levels, and that's where you become the galaxy of your eye interference. So everything that conditions, you come into your trees. Once you go to higher level system, it never stops there. It keeps going. So you have to be reborn to understand these conditions, right? So once you come into that position, you come into this position. Okay? So it's all about going to the higher level of its connection. See the intelligence? See the snake? Now, it's all about understanding what you're connecting with, how to understand everything that's going on, right? So it center lines its system to its location. Okay. Now, once you understand all level systems, your job is to create your own flower connection. Right? So it's really interesting as you come into these tract systems. I'm just showing you from frame to frame how everything is done through life cycle. But if you keep repeating your pentacle lights and your eye receptions, you're never going to move forward in life position. Okay? Sometimes the circle line centers off the location. You got to center back its position. But all humanity was starting in the center of its division line system. Okay? Big Bang Theory, out. Right? Your job is to go back in, not to go around the cycle. Every time you go around the cycle, you live a different life system. So your physical realm is cut short, right? But the soul keeps going round and round, round and round, round and round, round and round, until you understand what is going on with your life. So what's happening right now? Okay. Now the birth line comes into the positions of the sun and everything to the moon. Okay. And then you come into your own line system to its rotation of its conditions. Okay. Once you understand its birth line conditions, you come into a new physical line system and you start all over again. You start in the center, but you're in a different form. Okay. You're in a different body, the physical line system. That's a graph connections to a new identity to your birth line system. Okay. Birth line system, BLS. So once you come to that position, you go all over again. Your job is to understand how to get out of these things. So the whole point of this is humanity coming back into their consciousness. It's resetting your computer lines and taking yourself out of eyes of deception. The eye circles has to truly understand how to get out of the snake division. The snake division is everything through the connections. Now let's go to another level system. It's really fascinating to come to these levels. So this is the ladder. You're climbing the ladder. The ladder is the connection to the tree. You're trying to get to this. But apparently, there's a snake here that's trying to pull you down. Okay? There's a snake. Right? There's the snake. All right? So what do you think it is? What do you think the snake is? It's the eye circles of realm locations. It's the figure eight. It's the infinity. It's the lowest frame of the ground line system of humanity positions. So every time you go around that system, what are you doing? You're repeating your cycle every single time. So your job is to go higher, higher, and avoid the snake. Okay? So that's the whole point that you're trying to get across. You're trying to climb the Jacob's ladder and create your own eye circle rotation into truth. Once you come into the truth, see the intelligence, then you come back in the center line system, and then you create your flower of its activation line system to its position. You come into the flower of life, which is back home. But it doesn't stop there. Okay? You go back in its center line system to your own position of a new location, a new program system. You go back home. And when you go back home, you become your infinity cycle. Okay? You become your infinity cycle of 8 central line systems of new birth line conditions, which is the soul. Okay? So, and again, I'm doing it frame by frame so you get a better understanding how to put yourself in positions and stop going through that cycle of its karma wheel line system. Your job is to get into your flowers of life. Okay? I started off the same way. I kept it going high, 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 high. And the thing is, too, when you're in the birth line system, the right away is you see the snake. The snake is the connection to the eye circle. You have to get past the pentacles, past the Jacob's ladder, create your own anomaly of its figure eight motion. These are tentacle line system interference positions. It's understanding the plasma inner line center. Okay? So it goes like this, the connections. It's really interesting how it tracks these connections, interference gels. So it's on its own wet position, right? So what does a snake do? It scales, right? Try and understand how to create your own life system to its flower of resurrection of time location, right? So it's all about you protecting your lights every single time, especially if the snake's trying to climb to its ladder, right? It's trying to climb up, trying to slither all the way up, so it pulls you back down, right? So your job is to create your own flower of resurrection of time, get out the cycle line systems, put yourself in positions to that conditions. But this is where your commander is. And this is where everybody else is. Everybody is in position right now. Okay, to this condition. So let's start off with circle rotations. All right, so there's the figure eight. Now, this is the whole universe line system you guys are in. It's just a rotation. That's all it is. It just goes round and round. That's all it is. That's all it does. It goes round and round. You just have to understand what is going on. Are you circling right? Are you circling left? Are you going up? Are you going down? Are you going sideways? So what are you doing with your eye centers? It's all positioned. What do you think the center line system is to your position? It's your third eye track line system. Okay? So that is the positions. So you start off with this, right? You have the circle rotation, okay? And then you have your third eye connections of 369 platforms. There you go. Okay? Your job is to high rise and get out of the platforms and take your triangles out of position location. All right? So it's trying to understand that connections. So when you go up to higher level systems, you come into and out of your tree formation. And again, there's the intelligence, right? So it's all about understanding the connections of Jacob ladder, all about understanding how to get out of the cycles and put yourself in the infinity light. And then when you go back home, you come into a higher position of who you are through location, your programs, new program setting. But it's all about resetting consciousness. Okay? So it outskirts everything outwards, the outer limits, okay, the outer surface. It's all about going back into the center and resetting your conscious levels back into all level of its flower of life, the tree of life. It's all positioned to you through calculation. But once you get to high level systems, you come to higher locations in that position. Okay, so you have the tree, okay, like that. Okay, so you're going up through cycles, you're going through cycles, you're going through cycles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, those are 7 rotation line systems. Now it's all can be decision of time position. So you have your tracker system communications. These are your energy cells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 within the body line center. Okay, and then you got 5, which is the connections to your flux capacitors. Okay, so you come into that position, you come into your magnetic highway line information system. So that tracks the system comes down to its position to its ground and opens up all levels of its rotation of its light system. Okay, so you come a cyclone of information panel to its connections. High forces its position location, right? So what that does, it destroys everything through the connections to the snake line center. Okay, so the snake line center disappears into smoke. So it just goes away in position. It disappears. Hola, ¿cómo estás? My maid. All right, so once that disappears, what's next? You're at a higher division now. No more snake eye lines, no deception, no lies, no corruption. Okay, so this is all about understanding how you do these things through calculations. To understand, you have to put yourself in position and get out of those cycles of location to its position. All right, you start off with that. That's the infinity. That's the life cycle, right? Right. So everybody starts off in the center. Okay. Now, if you understand that conditions, if you can high force positions, you come into your 3 triangle line system of 3, 6, 9. And that's what all positions of Tesla was talking about. But when you come into the high formation, you come into your own division line system. Okay. So it's amazing how you track your systems, but your job is to go keep high rising up that ladder location. Highest, highest. And then you come into the flower of its connection. Okay. And again, intelligence. Everything that I draw is intelligence, your form of intelligence, but it's the infinity 8. You have to truly understand it's the birth line system of your past, present, and future. Okay. It backforces connections. So universe line system rotates on its system. That's all it does. It just goes round and round and round and round and round. Right. So the eyes say one thing. Okay. And your soul says another. Okay. So you got 2 connections there. Right. So if you keep going through that, the eye circles up more and more into the snake rotation. You don't want that through location because that's going to put you into a negative cycle to a planet location inception, right? So what do you want to do? You want to keep yourself in the center line system, okay? 2 is flower with rotation. That's the most important you have to understand is coming into your own flower of your own figure 8 location, into your own flower rotation, into your own calculations, into its position. Okay? That's all this is. That's all it is. You're in a cycle all the time, every single day. So it's repeating it, everything. But your job is to remember who you are through your conscious levels, right? So it's all about everything that is in position like this, center line its connections. Okay, understand the true position, how you come into that system, right? Circle about everything, right? So we come into that positions, we come into the infinity of 8, right? 8 central lines, 12 within the system. Okay, that's a teleportation line connections. So every time you go to higher level systems, if you keep going up that Jacob's ladder, the coloration and line center will change position locations and take you up to higher levels of your figure 8. Higher levels of your figure 8. Okay, so that's a true understanding how you have to change your positions and get off those karma cycles and move forward and go up past that Jacob's ladder. And then when you go back home, you're now in the center of your own creation of freedom. It's amazing how you come into that force. I started with that. You guys have to start with that. So I'm on my own positions to all creations. So I'm in the center of everything through balanced line system. Out of the eyes of deception and corruption. So no longer on the cycle of rotation. Okay, so that's how it's connected to everything through form. I just wanted to show you how powerful it is on what happens with you. It's all about not going through the cycle over and over and over. It's all about you evolving to higher level systems or programs. Okay. So it's you start in the center, you go out, right? That's the Big Bang Theory. That's everybody comes across, right? But your job is to go back in and remember you are who you are through conscious. Okay. It's resetting you through computer lines. So you come to a higher line system. Okay. It's created through its tree, right? So Jacob's ladder is the tree, but so it's all about understanding how to use it information line system and go up all levels of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 circle rotation line centers and positions, right? Takes you out of the snake tract line conditions of eye reception. So once you come up to the high level system of the flower, you create your own life cycle. Start off with that position, right? It's amazing how you come in these positions. Comes into a flower. See? Look what it is. It's an angel, guys. You see it? So everything is created. It's created. It's absolutely fantastic when you see these things. It's all about you understanding your life and how it comes together and how you are the importance of your cycles. You don't want to repeat things to conditions. So the 8 central line system, once you understand the 8 finity and once you get out of the deceptions, your eye circles change locations. Right, to higher levels. You start off with this position, start off with this position, you start off with this position, you start off with this position. Right? So it's all about you putting your flower together through its activation light system. It's a correlation of a center location. Once you bring that into connection, it high rises the center line system. Remember, everything through the box is inside, not outside. And then you come into your own flower of its position. Okay? So, do you have any questions on that yet? Just want to show you what you have to do. It's very powerful. You come in this. So this is all about resetting your computer lines and your connections, right? Taking your interpositions of your high levels of eye receptions, getting yourself out of the lies and deceitfulness and the corruptions. So you have to relearn, re-education, resurface, rejoin, and use your analog graph position locations. Try to understand what the infinity 8 is to you. Nobody will understand that unless you understand yourself through your soul. Okay, so it's all about understanding the logical and everything through the production system, the colorations and lights and activations and travels, and all this is position of you. Your eyes are deceiving you every single day. So if I take off my glasses, you can see the infinity 8, why it's round. See, like that. See, the center line is this. See the flux capacitor? See how it's bigger now? See the shape? See the shadow? See how it's getting bigger and bigger? So the eye central line system becomes everything through shape of dimensional time position. You come into freedom of all levels of travel connections, but that's what it is. Okay? So your structural line system is everything through that connections, right? And then you structure to its position. See? Drawing a tree. See? My hair. See? So truly understand how it is in your imagination, how it's created everything in that connections. So the more you high rise, the more you come into the structure line, right? The structure line into your digital frame line system. Okay? So that's a true understanding how you use these things. Okay? It's a better understanding if you know what the infinity of you is. Everybody's in the same cycle, but you're in different perception of time location. Okay? To yourself and to each other. Okay? But that's what everybody lives on. All right? So it's very cool, isn't it? Okay, Tina, Jill, Samantha, how's it going? Cleopatra, just try to make it easier for you guys to get a true understanding of why everything's coming in and resetting. It's all resetting you, putting you to higher levels, 5D, right? Trying to get you into 5D. So that's saying, so you don't keep repeating the cycle, right? Because if it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, the earth line center will deflate. Okay, and we have to go through realign line center connections. So they understand position of shape positions. Everything tracks this connection when you come to higher shape positions. But that's why AI is interfering now. Because humanity can no longer go on the same cycle. Because that's all you've been doing. You're trying to figure out what's going on. So every time you go back to the center, okay, your life cycle changes. So you go into a new body, but the soul stays on the infinity circle of its connection to its infinity riding system. So it's a teleportation wire. Your track system comes into new body position. Coloration lights, activation programs, holograms to the sun, and everything surfaces to the moon of your behavior system to its connections. Okay? So you didn't sleep well. So hyper, yeah. Yeah, I got your email, Cleopatra. I'll get to your connections. You can see orbs or something going in front of the camera. Yeah, you'll see that more and more, two positions. It's all about you guys getting more into your space and time and how to create your own flowers of life of each other, right? Your individual system is first, but you have to get out of the infinity cycle, get back into the center. It's a true understanding everything through your birth lines of the before and the after. Okay. And there's centuries on that. You know, when you come to that position, it's 1200, you know. So you got before Christ and you got after Christ. So it's all about understanding the center of you is nothing but light of travel. But if you keep going around that cycle, you're not learning anything. You're going back in position of deception through the eye circles of the snake. So I saw them as a reflection on the back wall. Yeah, you'll see them come in and now, right? So I'm in a different space right now. Yeah. Imagine you look like a crop circle. Yeah. Well, it's just trying to understand why you're in this position. Okay. Why you have ears for listening. So it's really paying attention. Why is AI in representation? We're all connected to that. Our farming system is all about remembering who we are, is to go back home and create our own flower of life and stay out of the eye pentacles of deception. All right? Because you'll keep going on that cycle. But every time you go back to that center, your life is cut short. And then you keep going around and around in a different vessel. But the soul keeps traveling until it finds a new identification, a new birth line of a biological system of your parents. So that's how it's perceived. Okay, that's what the universe mind system is. But the universe system right now, okay, is in one track location of a higher universal position of its pentacles and its point center location. So once you get out of the I division line center and you go into higher levels, like I said, the Jacob's ladders, this is what happens to positions. This is understanding all level systems, the in and out, the intimate line system, the base of its connections. So let's get into this position, right? So this is the infinity 8, okay? Now this is the base, okay? And this is the tip. That's the crystal. This is mother. This is father, okay? So you're in the center line system, okay? You're here. Your job is to come back in center and is to go up to create the flower. That's all you have to do. But you understand all position line connections comes into channel line systems of high levels of 144. So your job is to come back to 144,000 crystals. Okay, that's the center line system, everything that is positions. You come to your flower of life and the tree of life. So once you come into that, you understand more connections to spiritual realm systems. All right, you come into the pharaohs, the meridians, and the Inakis, and you truly understand everything through all level system to its equation. But once you understand that position, you come back in the center. Okay, so it's all about understanding the point centers of crystals. Now it goes into this position of time location. Okay, so truly understanding how it's all allocated to time location. Okay, and what is the 144 crystals? Well, that's the cycle line system of northwest, south, and east star station location to its position. right? And what is it? What is it? It's the earth line system. You see? So it's truly understanding what you're seeing. It's truly understanding what you're seeing. Right? So this is the earth line. This is the space line. This is your flower of life. So it doesn't stop there. Once you create your flower of life, you go into a higher level system. So it's true understanding when you come into your flowers of you. Okay. So you come into the love cycle life system, location 12 levels. So this is the flower. All right. So your commander is here in position. I'm right here. Okay. So you guys are out and trying to come back in. So you guys are right here. You're halfway in the center right now. That's where humanity is. You have to come back in the center. This is true understanding of what's going on through positions of time. It's all about resetting everything through your evaluations, tests, and everything through its conditions. And that's very important to understand. Why is it all in position of time of space? Infinity is nothing but a figure eight of your position. It's all in your mind system of what you perceive of its reality. So you can stay in the eight central line system and keep living that karma wheel, or you can create your own flower and go up to a higher level system to freedom of sovereignty location. All right. That's what everybody has to do. Or you're just going to keep living your deceptions and your corruptions in your own reality, which isn't your reality. You're going to stay in the all level systems of the low frequency level, and you're never going to climb that Jacob's ladder. This goes out to my team to truly understand what's going on through positions, and this goes out to everybody else. Truly understanding is to get off the cycles of you, okay, and stop going through positions of everything through corruption of yourself, because you're manipulating the situation through your own energies, and you're trapping your own connections to your soul. Your soul has to high rise. It has to create what it wants to create through freedom. It has to create what it wants through adventure or journeys. It has to know you through position. This is all done through its connections of sovereignties and anything through your sanctions. So, yeah, you see me because we go on trips. So I take you out of the connections of where you are through the iris line system. It's all done through your pentacles. All right. Your pentacles and frame is everything through point center. That's a connection to everything through the crop system, through locations of the 114 line connections of you through traction, to your body communication cycles and all positions, and 144,000 point line system to its connection to center line system, which it opens up all navigations of the earth line to your flower of its connection. Okay? Do you understand that? To its line system, to its position. Now this is back forward line conditions. So this is mother and this is father. It's the in and out of everything, guys, especially with your intimate line system, to its creation, to its relationships. Everything is in and out. Right? Understand? Comprendes? So that's how we have to get into the pause and cycles and its relation to its connection. Try to understand your negative cycle is in position, but just don't live it through its cycle, or you go back on its infinity 8 circle. All right. So how do we know we are back in the center? Will we still see you? It's your job to get onto your own cycles of rotation. So truly understand everything around your central line system is the center of you. Okay. But your job is to get into your own form positions of a flower. All right. You start here. That's all life is. It's just a cycle. That's all it is. Just a cycle. Just a cycle. Just a cycle. That's all it is. That's all it is. That's all it is. Round and round, round and round. That's all it does. Now, your job comes in position, and you come into your own magnetic highway of information. Now you've gone past it. So it circles down into body line connections, like this in position. Okay. Center lines its system. You come into your, you guessed it, your flux capacitor. You see it? See it? See the intelligence? The flux capacitor and its position, right? So that destroys all levels of its connections when it comes into the snake. The snake disappears. It just, so you start living your infinity cycle, which is fantastic. So you get off that karma cycle, you come back in this center line system to its position, and then you go up to your gateways of the presence of the now. There you go. The presence of the now. All right. So once you're in the presence of the now, you can create your own flower. You can create your own freedom. You can create your own sovereignty. You can create anything you want through your imagination, which comes to its manifestation. Powerful, isn't it? So once you go to that point, right, you're already here. You just keep high rising, right? You're in the center and you're creating whatever you want. You create this, go here, go here, go here, go here. And then you start creating your own compilation line centers to all positions of time location. You can travel anywhere you want and create anything you want and become everything through form of a web graph line system to its location. Right? So you come into your own flower of design. Right? And then you can web graph line system to its location. Create anything you want through a flower rotation. Right? So nothing get in that. The snake can't get there anymore because you're protecting yourself and you've gone to a higher level of space-time position. So you're out of the infinity of its trap. You're out of the I circle of its location of reception and its deception, corruption, lies, deceits. So what is the attraction of its conditions here? It's metamorphosing you to what? To its flower of its center. So once you reach a higher level system, you can pretty much do anything in that conditions, right? So this is what you want to do, is you want to create a web for yourself, like a spider, so nobody can get in. So if any intelligence try to come in to positions, right, they go like this. And then they return. See? They can't get in now because you created your own flower of life. So this is where I'm at through positions. The creation of everything conditions. Now, understanding dimensional time location, you can high rise your flowers now into higher lights of security defense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you can travel anywhere now because you're out of the flower location. All right. So the morning I cried, my eyes are out, and learned basically what you were saying. I'm wing position, I think, of feeling it, understanding my position from ground position as from top. I understand. Well, because you're in that complete cycle, and we went to the connections of high level systems to the UFO manufacturing new connection, where you actually got to see yourself inside through illumination. And when you start seeing yourself through X-ray, everything starts kicking in. You're just like, whoa, this is intense. I actually see myself inside. And then you realize this is amazing. So you're getting more in your positions, but your whole job is about creating your own infinity cycle of rotation. Okay. So I feel my shoulder blades get heavy and it goes down my spine, same as yesterday, travel. Yeah. So because you're in a higher light connections, you have to understand your position of your lights and your formations. So it's all about when you travel, you have to understand how to fluctuate the interference and your flux capacitors, right? Because it goes on its coil and its resistance. That's why you feel heavy, or that's why you feel more light. So you have to understand where you're traveling to. When you go back into the grounds, you have to center your positions back in position. This is all done through recognition of time. So only now I don't feel so light yet. Yeah. And that's a true understanding how to get into high levels of your connections. Right? So I showed you so many ways of what the Infinity 8 is and what it is and what it represents and why it goes out And it's all about resetting everything back into your conscious. Yep. It seems like an untenable idea. A lot more work is needed. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. You know, you need what you need to work on, but your job is to go to the highest light formation to create your own flower of design to its position. And then you can travel anywhere and nobody will touch you in that position because you're too high. You're too high in vibration. So it's plasma interference and protection. So where do we start in that connections? Right? So it's trying to understand how to use all levels of life position. Okay, and I've drawn you so many levels of what happens with the infinity systems. See, all the infinities, all about understanding dimensional time location. So, I mean, we have to start somewhere, right? Let's just truly understand what is the Jacob's ladder to you. What's the whole purpose of high rising? I don't want to keep going on infinity of its 8-line system. I don't want to keep myself in low division. So if the snake takes you in, it's going to create its own anomaly into the ground line system like this. And it's going to create bigger and 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 bigger. So this is what it's doing. It's trapping you. This is what it's doing. This is what a snake does. It wraps around you. And you can't get out of that. Now you're in the center position of the snake. So what does the snake do? It wraps around you, right? And crushes you. So we all have to understand how to use our positions. All right. Vicky, I woke up 3 a.m. and saw the visual. See, you're aware. That's excellent. It was purple. Yeah. But you have to understand your position, how everything comes to life. All right. You have to put your positions and how everything comes into why we're in this position in the first place. It's all about resetting our consciousness. That's all it is. Getting into your computers. Right? Your surface position is the low sanctions of your physical line system. That's the true understanding where the soul is trying to help you to high rise and get you out of the cycle. Right? You don't want to keep repeating. That's what centuries and centuries and centuries been doing. It's been repeating itself. That's, you get dizzy, right? So that's a true understanding you would get in positions, because the eye say one thing, your soul says another. So you have to truly understand how to travel through these all connections. And it starts with you to its position. So it's like a circle, basic understanding. It's just a circle. You start up in the center. Let's just start with that. Very basic, right? It gets confusing when you go into the infinity 8-line system. Now, you have all positions, okay? Everything in your center, right? So basically, you have your 12, okay? You have your 1, you have your 2, you have your 3, you have your 4, you have your 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? Now, that is all based on your clock of time. Okay? So your center line system is all position of you through location, which comes into the birth line system of the infinity 8 circle. Okay? Now it comes in positions when you come to high level system of the sun rotation, okay, to high levels of high positions, right? So you got the sun and you got the moon, right? Now everything in the center line is you, right? This is you. You're trying to understand how to get around, go faster, and get out of the cycle that you're in. So I'm just trying to show you another way how you can see these, and you can also see the intelligence, right? So it's trying to understand how to put your positions through the sun and the moon, how it operates the connection of 369 platforms. So once you go to higher levels, then you see the platform of 369, the tesseracts, and the matrix. You get out of that, you go to higher levels shapes of your geometric line system to its operation and its direction. Okay, so you go into higher levels of atmospheres. You guys are confused because you're not sure what's going on with your cycles. So this is all understanding how to use it from 12 to 12. So it's in positions of the sun, the moon, and everything through you. Once you go around, You have to get around the position, but you have to get out of the infinity 8. You understand? So if you know how to do that through connections, your high positions, you come into higher levels of dimensional realm system. So that disillusions the connections and it's illusory, and you come out of the reflection into a higher level system of rotation to its connection. So what that does is it takes it out of the equation and you become into your digital frame of its division, which becomes everything through image of your reality. So you come out of the cycle of infinity 8 and you go into higher levels of security line defense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8-dimensional time walk systems. So you're out of your infinity circle of the 8 of its rotation of its pentacle line system. So now you're an 8th-dimensional line system. You travel to that positions. Then the clocking system of 12 all the way around the system. You understand more positions of the sun, the moon, and everything in navigation. You're the navigation of time and space. It's your job to understand how to use your thoughts in all levels, especially when you come out of the cycles of the infinity 8 circle. Okay? So, what about the Kundalini snake? Well, you have to understand what the snake is. It's the eyes of deception. You have your hemispheres, you have your atmospheres, okay, and you have your weather, okay. That's a true understanding, connection to your seasons. So it's all about understanding how to use positions of you. So the snake is all about understanding what is the infinity circle, right? And we've gone through that so many levels of activation system, okay. Right. So the connections of the snake is the ground line system. So the snake comes out. So it's kind of like a snake coming out of a barrel, right? You see that in India. So this is trying to understand what you see. So the snake starts here. Okay. There's the snake, right? So this is all about you understanding. When you awake, this is what you see. You awake, you come into this position, right? So the snake sees you in position, right? So when it's going, it comes alive and it looks at you. All right. Your job is to high rise your positions out of the barrel. So it's kind of like a barrel coming into a flower, right? So the snake is always going to try to wrap around you and try to catch you, right? Very basic, very easy to do these things because this is what I went through conditions. I see the snake, I know exactly how to go around it. So you have to deceive the snake. Go to the opposite direction, right? Don't go in the direction of the snake because it will wheel you in and bring you back into the barrel of the ground line center of this position. Okay. So once you go to a higher level system, the snake will keep crawling up and try to find other ways of bringing you back down to its position. But once you go to a higher level system, the snake resists this and disappears in all levels of its dimension, of time location. So it's kind of like dizzying a snake, confusing a snake, trying to get out of deception, trying to get out of its own reception like connections, trying to defer the connections, trying to distract the snake. So when you're distracting, you keep going up. It's like, look this way. What? You know what I mean? So that's what you do is you keep going up, right? So that's the ladder. Okay. This is the grounds. There's the snake. That's how it starts. So you are the ladder that you climb, right? It's like snakes and ladders. Why do you think Snakes and Ladders is a board game? Everybody just thinks it's a game, but that's the way of life. So think of it that way. It's a board game. That's what it is. Snakes and Ladders. You guys don't know that, do you? I'm going to tell you that now. You got a game. Okay. You got ladders here. Okay. You got, these are all your frames. Okay. And you keep going up. Keep going up. All right. So this is what it is. You go up the ladder. Okay. You start with that position, right? So, and then you come across another frame position. Okay, you go here, here, and here's the head of the snake, right? So if you land on the snake, you go down, ooh, and then you got to go back up again through the ladder. That's why they call it snakes and ladders. This is a grappling system. Truly understand what life is. It's a game of life. So the whole idea is for you to go up to a higher level and get past the snake. That's all this is, guys. That's all it is, right? So now you know why Snakes and Ladders is created through a board game. It's a documentary of you, of your life cycle through the positions of your infinity line system. So, no, you're never trapped in your body. No, that's all eyes of deception through your corruption position and negative cycles. So it's only you that's doing this, nobody else. So you're creating everything through your connections when it comes into high levels of Snakes and Ladders, right? So that's what it is. That's what your life is based on. Truly understand how to get past all levels of the snake. Ooh, oh, I gotta go again. Ooh, see what I'm doing? See what I'm doing? See what I'm doing? See how it's repeating? See how it's repeating? See how it's repeating? That's what you have to do. You have to learn how to use the psychological of the system and pass the snake. All right. So when you pass the snake and you don't land on the snake, you're good to go. You're past. And you go to higher levels. All right. That's what life is all based on. All right. So go here. Yay. Right. Freedom. Yay. See? You don't want to loop. You don't want to loop. But now you know why we created high levels board games of Snakes and Ladders. People see it as a game, but your whole life is a game. Just a perfect example, trying to give your A, B's, and C's and 1, 2, 3s and how everything works in life, right? So everything that connects to the Kundalini, okay, is its position. The head of the snake and the tail. So if you want to look at it chronologically, you have to understand the centerline system to its connection, okay, is your life ending to its location. Right? So this is the head of the snake. All right? This is the head of the snake. All right? That's the head of the snake. So if you go back in the center, you go, your soul, you basically, your physical line basically disappears and your soul goes up. There's your soul. Right? So you go back again into a new life cycle. So you keep going back into the infinity of its position. So you keep living the same connections of the eye circle of deception location. Until you understand how to high rise, right? It's like the board game. Okay. You want to get past the snake to freedom. Right? So yeah, it's all done through looping. And that's what all you base your life on, right? Connections. Does that give you a little bit understanding more about how we're all connected and how we go through looping? Your whole life is connected to the psychological line system. Do you understand why you have to get into my telepathy? That's the only way you can get past the snake. That's the only way. Okay? So, and it's the third eye. It's the third eye that sets you free. It's not this. It's this. You just have to know how to use it through shade. Things are making more sense now, aren't they? Why do you think you're given a third eye? Why? If you understand that, then you understand everything through its game. Your whole life is a game. You just have to understand what it is and get out of the cycles of its game. So, can you recommend breathing techniques for raising the snake all the way up, particularly when you reach the heart chakra? It's your job to figure that out for yourself. What I can do for you is get into better, proper breathing. Yes, I can help you with those techniques. It's all about understanding that this is all done through your mind. Okay. So it's the creating system to its barrel connections. Like you start off the connections. Right? Very important to understand these things. You go in that positions. You start off with that. Okay. So the snake awakes. It sees you alive. You wake up. Whoa. So the snake tries to bring you back down. Okay? So it's all about suffocation. You don't want to suffocate yourself. And that's what breathing is. So it's the breathing that gets rid of the snake, but it's the proper technique. So it comes to understanding how to use your techniques for breathing, right? So it all goes into the ground line system to its positions. Okay, you have your grounds, you have your powers, and you have your atmospheres, right? So the position line conditions everything through its tree. 2, its E-fields. So you start here. Your job is to go here all the way up to the flux capacitor, right? And then your job is to put yourself in this center every single day, right? So when you do that, you don't create any more of infinity 8. You just create a yin and yang. You understand? So when you create the yin and yang, you keep going forward in life. So you live a new life cycle, and that's the whole point of understanding life, death. So you come into this position, which is this position. Okay? So what stays in the center line system? What is this? What is this, guys? What is this when it comes together? The snake disappears and it comes into a cycle line system to location of fish. Yes. 6 and 9, people. 6 and 9. Right? So now you truly understand the eye circles of all positions of the snake, which blends into your positive and negative cycle. So that's a true understanding how you get into that positions. And it just keeps going forward and forward and forward and forward and forward. And then you can take that out and go higher. Take the yin and yang to go higher line system to its location. Right? So I've gone way past this. So your job is to start here. Your job is to get into the third eye of 369. Okay? Your job is to underline the system to connections of the snake. You see the snake? You guys have to understand how the snake comes together. That's the negative cycle. Do you understand the circle now? Do you understand what yin and yang is? And then you come into father, mother. You come into the base of mother and the tip of father, the inner cycle and the outer cycle, the inner force and the outer force, right? So that's what it is. And this is the snake. The snake has autocorrection. This has resolution. This has revelation. It understands its position of time, location to its direction, to its connections. Truly understanding what is this all about, what the life cycle is all about, to its position, to its location. That's the snake. So the snake comes together. And when the snake comes together, the fish come together. See the fish? 6 and 9. 6 and 9. Whoa! So what is this? Oh, what is this? 6 and 9. There you go. Now you know. You start here, you come back here, you come back into the flow of 6 and 9, which becomes the yin and yang. Ooh-ah. There you go. That's what we have to come into. Powerful when you come into these positions, guys. You have to send the birth line center and how it's all set up to the yin and yang, right? It helped me a lot because I've been doing martial arts since I could crawl. So I understand the system and how it works in its positions. I understand how to get out of the snake because the snake is the negative cycle. But once you get in position, the snake goes into the center line system. That's the snake, right? So it comes into its fish, and the fish goes into a cycle of flow, right? This disappears, no more cycle. Hooah. See? That's how it works. That's how life works. That's how it's perceived. All right? So hopefully that helps you out. Okay. All right, so you guys got a lot of questions here. Can you recommend? Yeah, so the breathing is position of you to the ground. So let's start off with the basics. You can close your eyes, you keep your eyes open. Now, fluctuation interference channel line system. Try to understand how to get into the yin and yang. Okay, the birthing connection of the grounds of mother and the birthing connections of space of father. Okay, so the ground formation line system, because trying to understand you through connections, right? So you understand your connections to your reactor of a high level systems of the heart, how to use the soul identifications, and how to use the psychological system of breathing, right? So it's you guys got to find ways of rhythm. You got to find ways of traveling, not just you got to find ways of fluctuating your line system. You got to see yourself going into high levels of division, right? So try to fluctuate the interference, try to get into your energy, try to get into patterns, try to get into colors, try to get into sound, try to get into all your senses. So when you break free from all your senses, your line signaling the snake into the yin and yang of the fish, of its flow. Okay? That's how life works. And that's how it's perceived. Okay? So, okay, Mary. Yep. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So we start with the grounds, right? So it's releasing all that toxic level that you have. You start with the ground. You can feel the ground. You can feel your stomach line. You can feel the base of you. It's all connected inside you. Really connect with the body. Understand the psychological system of the base, right? Then you work your way up. Find different patterns, fluctuate interference back up and down, get that connections, right? And then you go to higher levels. Once you go to higher levels, you come into higher positions of your deception line centers. You get out of the connections. So it's all about getting out of the cycles of flow, of repetition, getting out of that position, right? So if you see yourself going around and round, try to find a way to go around it. Try to find a way to go up through it. Try to use the psychological system of your thought. Try to use your voice patterns to its connection. Try to understand what's going on with the ground line system. Try to understand what's going on with the center of the heart system. Try to understand what's going on with the creation of the mind system. Right? And this is how you go to higher levels of chakra positions. Okay? It's not just meditating, guys. This is understanding how to get out of your cycles. Okay, of its infinity 8. Right? I just showed you how to get into that. You have to understand what that is. That's the snake. So the snake is coming together. The fish are formed, and it comes into a full of a stream. It flows in one direction. Now, if you're in light and you don't understand the traction of flow, you're going to go back in location. And you're going to come back into the snake. You understand? So that's very powerful how you come into that position of yin and yang. It's all about bringing your consciousness back on where it's supposed to be, which is back home. Okay? So we get into that position and you go a bit higher. Really get into that focus. That's laser direction. Get into the confidence, get into the control, get into the command, get into the focus on what you're doing with your breathing. Take all those toxic levels, right? So everything through your breathing should be through the mind of thought. You can't breathe in the physical system. You have to breathe in the soul identification. That's where it becomes true to its resonance of its line system. Okay? So the more breathing you get into, the more you're protecting yourself. You're really fluctuating everything, and you're putting everything around you through its connection, and it's creating its own circle of flow. Okay? So, and the thing is too, is that once you go to higher level divisions, you can create your own infinity 8 circle. So it's understanding how to go through it and how to go out of it. So it's amazing what you can do through shape, but your job is to go into the infinity 8, get out of that position, go back in the center and create its own flower of life. and then you go back in the center, and then you can do whatever you want. And now you understand your alignments. Now you're standing everything through Ryan's belt. So once you go back in the center, you go up to the Jacob's ladder, and you stay in the presence of the here and now. Okay, that's what you live. And that's what Alan Watts was talking about. There is no future, only the now. And that's where the mind comes into center of balance of everything through its connection. And that's where everything comes into its creation of its vibration. Two shapes, the geometry of you, the operation of you, the directions, okay, your dimensions and divisions. Okay? But breathing is number one. Try to get into those stages. Try to get into that, like skip a beat, like hold it in. Find different ways of doing different programs. Try to reset your line center so you can communicate through your body more, so it understands what you're doing through fluctuation of interference of its connections. Because everything you channel in, you channel out, channel in, channel out. The epsilon line connections to positions, the absolution to its program connections, the base of mother, and the tip of father. Okay. The inner sanction, the outer sanction, the in, out, in, out. That's all it is, guys. Right? That's the breathing. Okay. It surfaces its position. If you want to turn it upside down, you have to stand near the tree, and you have to stand your grounds, you have to stand your powers, and you have to stand your atmospheres. And then you come into the galaxy. If you look up, you can actually see what you created through its flower. Right? So it's good to massage the chakras also, circular motions. Yeah, as long as in its continuous force and understands positions, yes. Amazing, super valuable content, my friend. Thank you. Well, that's great. I'm glad I can help you out there, Alicia. If you want to go to higher level system, you can go through my email, go through my healing, and you can join my school. Okay. It's the true understanding how you guys are all in your system of understanding why we came out and why we have to go back into our conscious. It's resetting everything through a mind system of thought. That's all this is. That's all this is. So truly understand how to use that and get out of the deception of the snake, and how the snake comes together to its yin and yang, to its creation of its fish, and then it comes into its flow of yin and yang position. And then you start living the now of all creation. Okay? So I'm just going to back phrase here. Flux capacitor. Yeah, flux capacitor is basically a wind factor connection to you through the division line system. So use the flux capacitors. Now I'll put it in the yin line center. Okay, this is the flux capacitor to its position. See, center line system is you through allocated positions. So you are the center line connections to your flower resurrection of time location. There's your flower. That's what you want to live, right? So if you understand that, you come out of the equation to a higher division of dimensional time location, right? So it's all about getting higher and higher and higher, faster, faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. Okay, and you go extremely high, you can create anything through anomaly of shapes, letters, and numbers, and everything through energy, a form of intelligence. Right? So it's amazing how everything comes together through the snake in this 69 position, comes into the flow of its stream to its line system, which is all done through its clocking of its dimensional time location. All right. So if you understand the flow, the flower of time will spin, 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 faster, 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 faster. And it all connects to the mind of thought. And that thought is already created. And the heart understands its receptacle line system. No more deception, no more lies, no more connections at positions. All through force recognition of time into the positive system location. Okay. So the flux capacitor is about you understanding how to stay in the presence of the now. The flux capacitor is everything through its coil. Okay, it's everything through its activation. It's everything through acceleration. It's everything through speed. All right, it's everything through clocking and time of space. All right, it's how to travel through it. All right, seeing wax on wax off. Yeah. No, that's wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. But it's like this. Create. The faster things get more easier, more controllable, more balance. Right? Yep, that's exactly what it is. It's a Y shape used for travel, but it's much more than that. As long as you stay in the center line system to all positions, you're totally fine. Right? And now you're not trapping yourself anymore through deception, lies, or corruption. Right? Because the eyes can deceive you in all ways. And that's where it comes into the pentacles. Right? You have to learn how to use that, especially when it comes to the tarot cards. And what are pentacles? What are they? They're point centers of dimensional time through the clock. So you have to learn how to use these things in all positions. Right? So I think I got to cut up on all your questions here. Let's see. Whoa, yeah, a lot of questions. Great to see that. Great to see everybody. I'm just going to head over to TikTok. If you have any questions, you can go through that. You can DM me, let me know. All right. So I just want to get that out for everybody to really understand how life is connected in all ways and forms through the Infinity Eight. All right. So the flux capacitor, yeah, exactly. Okay. Adios.